How are you?
Oh, Ted. Oh, my good friend Maggot Breath. Yeah.
Okay, you have reunited with the Plasmatics. And, is this original Plasmatics?
What do you mean, Ted? No, I don't want you snorting up those maggots while we're doing this. You come on, put those maggots away. Quit snorting them up. Now we'll get to the real meat of it. The Plasmatics never broke up. It's a concept that Rod Swenson and I came up with in 1978. There's been over 17 different people involved with it.
Could you tell us about those other members?
That's not the 17. I'm not even sure, who's alive and who isn't at this point.
Okay, well, who do you have now?
Some of the stories are very pretty. Some aren't so pretty. Some are dead. Some of them wore out. What can I say? I can say West Beach is God. I can say that he's the guitar that you always heard with the Plasmatics and didn't miss any of the albums with the Plasmatics. And he took a break for a while and got off the road and wanted to get into some production and co-produced, was an associate producer with my solo albums and also an associate producer on the Maggot album, and is back with a vengeance in the lineup. The Plasmatics has always been a four-piece band, so I've got two guitars, bass, and drums, and it's the same people playing with me live that are playing on the Maggot album.
Okay, and you split off to do a solo project, and why did you decide to reunite?
Well, it's just the same thing, like Wes, he had things he wanted to try, I had things the Plasmatics is always about trying different things, doing different things. I mean, it's just, like I was practicing my chops, and I did some stuff with a three-piece band just for the hell of it. And, my biggest love is hard, fast, thrashing stuff. I mean, this is, I like in 1978, most of our songs were less than a minute long. I mean, I think maybe even Fast Food Service was maybe the fastest song in the world at that time. And, we were doing it first. It's something that is often been imitated but never duplicated. And now the Maggot album, I couldn't have done that in 1978. That took 9 years to be able to do the Maggot album. And people call it the very first thrash opera. I like that. I like it when people call it the first thrash opera. I mean, again, it's something that's never been done before.
Now, is this reunion with Plasmatics?
It's not a reunion.
Well, okay, yeah.
It's the 9th anniversary Plasmatics tour.
Okay, is it
9 years of Plasmatics?
So I guess I was going to ask you if it was going to be just a one-off thing, but I guess it's not.
Plasmatics is a concept. Plasmatics is a concept, and these people right now, this Plasmatics we plan to go in the airplane hangar. We've got an airplane hangar out in New Jersey that recorded the Maggot album in. I recorded the Commander of Chaos, and I really like the sound we get out there. And after we've just finished doing 30 cities, and we've got some stuff to do in Europe, and then we'll be going in the studio and lay down another album, and then we'll be going after Labor Day through the South and the Southwest and finishing up the rest of the Maggot tour.
Speaking of this Maggot album, Maggot tour, the new album's out on Profile Records, I understand.
Yeah.
In the States, and...
See what we do with every album I've ever made. I make an album, and then I get a deal. A one-deal deal. The only album I didn't do that with was the Coup d'etat album. That's the only album I don't own. That's the only album that was the worst deal that I've ever had in my life. I mean...
That was on Capitol, wasn't it?
Right, that was the worst. That was the absolute
worst.
Why
was it?
I don't like having other people stick their noses in my business. And there was a lot of pushing and pulling. I mean, it was something,
That's my favorite album. I think that's great.
Well, I think it could have even been better if they were involved with it.
What did they try to do?
It's just jerks. I mean, I was on tour, like the album wouldn't be in the stores. I mean, they were just jerks, spending too much money doing the album.
Taking too long.
Yeah, I mean, it's just way too long. Something like I think all of the best Plasmatic albums, my solo stuff has been produced by Rod Swenson, and we don't take a lot of time. We just do it. I like that live, raw sound.
How long? What's the time you like to spend making
We do
an
it
album.
very fast. We do it very fast and keep it fresh and raw.
Speaking of this new album, Maggots, the record, how do you think it came out? Tell us about it.
Well, come on. What do you mean? How do you think it came out?
I don't know.
Every year you're like, it's the best thing I ever did. You know, well, how do you go? Oh,
Well,
I love it.
I'm sure you like
it's
it,
doing
but-
well. You know, yes, we're leaving a trail of bleeding eardrums behind us. It's true. It's all true. You know, well, what do you do after that? You know, like, I mean, it's for each individual. No, like, why did I do it? If I could put it in words, why I did it, why would I do it? You know, the statement is always the statement. And this is for each individual. This is for each person's mind. I hope it's stimulating. I hope it's thought-provoking. I hope it keeps people awake for a while. I hope it's, you know, just thrashes their brains out.
It's a concept LP, right? And why did you decide to do a concept album?
Every album I've ever done has been completely different. I live for freedom. I live for not doing things by the book. I live for not going with the formula. I mean, you know, you ask somebody, well, what about your album? Let's tell me about it in 20 words or less. You know, and, you know, well, Bon Jovi's going to say the same thing. It's the best thing that I ever did. You know, but who are these people? You know, what have they got to say? I mean, you know, like they're going with this, you know, platinum formula stuff. I mean, it is totally, you know, whoring themselves out. Who are they? You know, there's somebody who's got money in the bank. They can get laid anytime they want. You know, like who's the industry that's pushing it on them? They're just pushing it on a naive public. I mean, you know, like, whose fault is it? You know, to me, it's the artist.
And of course, you have an album out, and because of that, you have a tour. And where's it going? And where's it? Well, actually, I found out just now that it's the end of the tour. This is the last date.
And on this leg of it, then we're going to Europe, and then we're going back in the studio, and then after Labor Day, we'll be going through the south and southwest,
How long have you been?
finishing the 9th anniversary Plasmatic tour.
How long have you been on tour?
We just finished doing 30 cities.
30 cities. And how's it been going? Tickets selling well and stuff? Or
It's great. We've been playing to some of the liveliest audiences anywhere.
now you were here 2 years ago, and also played at a 21 and over club, and which is what you're doing now at the Belly Up Tavern. And that's over 21. Now, don't you think that would limit your audience or something?
Yeah, I hate it. I mean, you know, like it's this whole PMRC and all this other crap. I mean, you know, like they're just, you know, like it's messing up. It's very difficult touring and finding places to play. It's very, very difficult. I mean, I prefer playing at an all-ages show. I don't like doing 21 and over shows. If I can avoid it, I do. If I can't, well, I've got to do it. I don't like it, and it's just because narrow-minded people that are, you know, afraid of a four-letter word corrupting their youth, their precious sons and daughters. And, you know, like it really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I mean, and these are the same people that say to me, well, Wendy, gee, you jump out of airplanes, you know, like, gee, you do this, Wendy, you drive cars through walls of television sets, you drive cars off of cliffs, Wendy. Aren't you scared? You know? And I say, you know, that doesn't scare me. You know, what really scares me, you know, like, is the complete, you know, disregard for law and order in this Reagan administration. I mean, how we're, you know, financing the overthrow of other governments as the CIA and Nicaragua and the selling of arms, you know, like in total disregard for law and order. I mean, the why, you know, like, I mean, are people starving to death? And we're spending more and more money on nuclear weapons. You know, the complete ecology, the complete ecosystem of the planet totally falling apart. I mean, from the cutting down of the forests to have more room to raise cattle for McDonald's hamburgers, or from the burning of fossil fuels. You know, yes, there is a greenhouse effect taking place. Yes, in 30 years it is true. That is a true point, that they do predict the flooding of all of the major cities because the temperature is rising and there will be melting of the ice caps. This is happening right now. I mean, you know, like it's, you know, like what are we doing with our nuclear waste? I mean, the really frightening thing I've found out just recently is that they're planning on using the nuclear waste as a new form of food preservation within a couple months. It's frightening. It's frightening, and these are the people that are worried, and these are the people that are just, like I said, if you're not playing a football field, it's rather difficult touring, but that's how I've made my money, and that's how I've done what I do is by touring, and so I, have to play.
You seem to be politically aware of a lot of stuff. Do you pay a lot of attention to the news and stuff? And
every album I've ever put out has got a message on it. Everything I've ever done has a message in it. I mean, I think if you've got an audience, why not say something? That's why I said, these people that want to make me throw up are the Bon Jovis of the world, the jerks on the hill. I mean, who are they? Who are they? What have they got to say? What are they doing? What does it mean?
Yeah,
it means that they've got money in the bank, and it means that they can get laid. And it means that they're just a whore. That's what it means to me, and it makes me want to throw up. I mean, I like to see people do their hair. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it's fun. And, maybe they've got something to say, but maybe if they just do their hair and they don't have anything to say, maybe they should think about it twice. I made up my mind in 1978. Am I in it for the money?
You could easily be in it for the money, though, but you don't.
But I'm
refuse.
not. I'm not.
Yep.
I mean, I like my freedom. To me, that's where it's at. It's freedom. And that's not the most commercial thing to do.
Yeah. How would you classify and describe your music?
Well, I like people calling my Maggot album the very first thrash opera. I mean, my music is just so fast, so uncompromising, so over the edge. But it's like, again, I said, it's often imitated but never duplicated. It's something. It's original. It is thrash. It is metal. It is punk. It is, you name it. It is that. I mean, it's just very hard, heavy, thrashing, over the top stuff. I mean, and it's the amazing part of it is it's played so well and it's so intricate. I mean, there's so many parts to it. I mean, thrash opera. I really like thrash opera. I mean, what can I say?
Okay, and many groups have been influenced by the Plasmatics, I'm sure. But have the Plasmatics had any musical influences, and if so, what are they?
The Plasmatics is a concept that came out of being very bored with what was happening on the music scene, and
just decided to go against
just going against the formula, going against the flow. I mean, and all these other people who I've mentioned who make me want to throw up, I find gives me great fuel.
Okay, I've heard something about you being on a TV show.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm screening this TV show, and I'm also screening a film, and find out how good the film is, and if the film's good, then we'll do some music for it. But I already played the part in it, and it's supposed to come out around Thanksgiving time. And I play a biker chick named Butch who takes a guy for a ride and changes his life. And I just finished a thing for Fox TV that's
what show
coming.
Is it called?
It's called Beans Baxter. I think it'll be airing the 1st of June. And I'm the first guest villain on the show, and I'm a terrorist in a souped-up helicopter with the doors blown off, shooting at a bunch of middle-class Americans, so I'm having a good time.
You've been asked this many times. I told you I might ask you some questions that you've been asked a lot of times, but I want to get this on tape for my show.
All right.
Why do you do such dangerous stunts? And do you have any planned for the future?
Well, I'm really into airplanes right now. I mean, I just love airplanes. And I'm also, after being out in Colorado again and everything, and traveling through the mountains, I want to get into some rock climbing. I mean, I just, I think that looks great.
Yeah, but aren't you scared? Well, I don't know how to put this. Aren't you worried about your health? I mean, you can easily just...
I train. I mean, like my music, my life, everything that I do, I mean, I'm in training constantly. So if I want to do something in my head, physically, I can do it. And like I said, I mean, I don't perpetuate the establishment. I don't go with what is dished out on me, I don't do drugs because I think that is something that's pushed on everybody by big business, and I don't like supporting the big business that's pushing it.
You also don't
I
drink,
smoke,
I'm told.
I don't drink. I mean, the same thing. It's big business.
You work out
and
a lot?
I'm not going to support it. Of course. I mean, like, you can't sing the kind of stuff that I sing. I mean, you can't lead the kind of life that I lead unless you did. I mean, there always are a lot of basket cases. A lot of people in rock and roll get fried, and the stories are pretty sad. And shit, it's nothing can compare with being clear-headed and just, digging it. I mean, you can't compare the high.
You were supposed to be on the Joan Rivers show last week. Now, I waited for that. Now, what happened?
Yeah, well, they asked me, because we were touring, and we couldn't make the Tuesday show, and so we were supposed to, or whatever day it was, we couldn't make that, and I was supposed to do it tomorrow, but Joan Rivers and the management came up with problems, and you're fired, I quit, blah, blah, blah. And so her last show was Friday, and I did, she asked me, she said, if I'm not hosting the show as a personal favor to me, will you not go on? And I said, well, sure, I mean, she's been a great friend. And so I went on the last show Friday just to tell her, like, Joan, on a night like this, I'd be here for you. And then Friday night I also did a show. Where were we Friday night, Jerry? Long Beach?
When did you do the show? Friday? You did the show Friday night?
Yeah.
Saturday we were in Long Beach.
No, Friday night I did a show too, right? I went on the Joan Rivers show Friday, and
That was in Reseda. That was
Reseda,
in the country club.
the country club, played the country club, all in one night. Long Beach?
Yeah, when did you do the show? Friday? You did the show Friday night?
Yeah.
Saturday we were in Long Beach.
No, Friday night I did a show too, right? I went on the Joan Rivers show Friday, and
That was in Reseda. That was
Reseda,
in the country club.
the country club, played the country club, all in one night.
Okay, so I guess we're all out of time
Yeah,
here.
she's got to start.
Okay, I need 2 IDs.
Okay.
One for the normal station, which I'm sure will be played a lot,
Okay.
and one for my special metal show.
Okay, so KSDT 95.7 FM cable in San Diego.
Say whatever you want.
And then what special one is, what's the name of your show?
Well, unless you can think of a better show, preferably with the word maggots in it somewhere.
Don't worry.
My show's basically kind of called, it's like a real corny name, it's called Metal Till Midnight.
Okay.
And my name's Ted. It's like Tuesday nights from 10 to 12.
Okay, you call yourself Terrible Ted or anything like that?
Believe it or not, I've been called that since before 7th grade.
All right.
Terrible Ted.
It suits you. I've been sitting here talking to you for so long.
My teachers have been using me for examples. I gotta make sure I have enough tape. My teachers have been using me in 7th grade for examples. Like they would say, "Hey, suppose Terrible Ted stole a liquor store here." Okay, go.
Roll 'em. Take one. Wendy O Williams live.
Hi, this is Wendy O, and you're listening to KSDT 95.7 FM cable in San Diego, the biggest, the slimiest maggots in rock and roll, right here, giving it to you. Don't touch that dial.
Great.
Take
And
two.
could you do another one for my show? Got it?
Hi, this is Wendy O, and you got Metal Till Midnight with Terrible Ted. Yeah, Ted, get out of the bathtub, Ted. I don't know, Ted's talking about something kinky, like he likes taking a bath with the maggots squirming around between his toes. I don't know. He's in there, but he's going to be over here, and you wake up! Because this is KSDT 95.7 FM cable in San Diego, and Ted's going to be here in just a minute and giving it to you just the way you want it.
Take two on Terrible Ted.
Hi, this is Wendy O. Wake up! It's Metal Till Midnight, and you got Terrible Ted. Well, as soon as you almost got him. You see, he's in the bathtub right now. I don't know. He was talking about something like, I like the way maggots feel when they're squirming between my toes in the bathtub, and I don't know. But as soon as he gets out of the bathtub, stay awake! This is KSDT 95.7 FM cable in San Diego, and Ted's gonna be giving it to you just the way you want it, all covered with slimy maggots, so stay tuned. Hi, this is Wendy O. And I'm here with, the Knockwurst-sized maggot of rock and roll, the Metal to Midnight Show with Mr. Knockwurst Maggot Ted, KSTD 95.7 FM cable in San Diego.
You want any more?
No.